Thank you for staying with us. Once again, this is the Pyramid Show, your #1 tele-construction guy show, where you find the answers to all the challenges you see in your various houses. My guest today, he's renowned. He has the experience. I call him the expert when you talk about the use of LPG, and he joins me here live in our studio. His name is Mr. Eddie Quay, and he is the CEO for Glasscomb Limited. He is a mechanical engineer by profession, and he joins us on this discussion. Sir, thank you for making time to be part of this discussion today. Let's start, like we promised our viewers, with the setup of a kitchen. Is a kitchen supposed to be, built, or its items arranged in a particular order or manner, or you can just, finish it how you want it?
No, you can just finish it how you want it. Sometimes what happens is when you go for fresh equipment or very new designs, you want to look at them the way you love it. So you may think you can just arrange them, but then the architects have a plan for you. So anytime you design your house, or the architect is coming out with your house, you have to ask them the location of the cooker. And then the vacuum, that is the extractor. The architects have to give all those locations. It's very important, because if you walk into your kitchen and you have a smaller kitchen, the position of the cooker is very important. And if you have a very big kitchen and you want to go the modern way where you want the cooker in the middle of your kitchen.
That's what they call island.
The island kitchen coming up these days. You have to be very careful with it. A friend of mine decided to do the same thing, but then I walk in there, I told him, this is a trap for yourself. And he asked me how. I said, look at where your cooker is. Now, in case of emergency, how do you run out of your kitchen? Now, the island is going to block you, and you have to remove the island.
So are you saying entirely that the introduction of island in kitchens is wrong?
No, it's not wrong. You have to look at the size of your kitchen. You see, when you look at luxury homes and you see it on the internet, sometimes you don't see the sizes of the kitchen, but the kitchens are really big. So if you want island, then you have to make sure 3 persons can pass within the space.
Okay.
That is 3 normal people can pass.
Okay.
But if it's only the side lanes are just 1 person or 2, that is not right. That island should not be there.
Okay. Now, you spoken to us about the island. I believe you were trying to explain to us how a kitchen setup is supposed to be. Yeah. Let's consider where the door opens to. Let's look at the windows. In modern days, we see people introducing air conditioning systems in the home. In the traditional settings where they've embraced LPG, we don't see most homes with extractors.
Well, the funny thing is that because AC have become cheaper, people are now installing them in their kitchens. And it's nice when you start enjoying the breeze. But then what people forget is that the AC use recirculation air. That means the LPG gas, the fumes that comes out, all the byproduct of the gas stays in the kitchen. So you have to make sure you have a strong extractor. We have 2 extractors to the kitchen. We have the one that is on top of the gas cooker. And then you're supposed to have a wall extractor. You're supposed to have a wall extractor. So you have to ask your architect, where is my wall extractor?
Mr. Duque, I can tell you confidently, most kitchens I see do not have wall extractors. Even with the smart ones we see, it's just the kitchen, the stove, the cooker extractor we see.
Okay, if you want to know some of these wall extractor, if you go to any of the malls, just walk into their washroom. Realize that you don't smell anything when you are in there. And anytime you go in, you hear some motor running, just that sound. That tells you that the extractor is taking out all the air in that particular room. And you are supposed to have an extractor, not the one that controls the cooker. So
can we have the picture back on the screen? There was an extractor on the screen. I want you to look at it. So this one sitting right
on the left-hand side.
Yes.
This is the cooker extractor.
This is for the cooker
extractor, but there's supposed to be the room extractor. So the extractors are supposed to be 2.
So you agree with me? In most situations, you don't see the room extractor.
So if you don't have a room extractor, you don't need to actually install an AC in your kitchen. You can do a fan, which is okay.
So now you're talking about ventilation.
But ventilation is very important. The type of windows you use in your kitchen. With the sliding glass windows, that is what they use in Europe. Now we have imported those technology into our modern houses today. So you see kitchen with slide windows. That means you've reduced the amount of air that comes in and goes out. Now, if you have a single window only in your kitchen, because of the design, if your structure, your window is in between 2 rooms, you can't have 2 windows. But if your kitchen is at the corner, then you can have 2 windows, one at the back, one at the side. You can have 1 window at the back and 1 window at the side. That one, the air can flow. So you have the air flowing in and out.
No, let me understand this better. So I've seen kitchens with just a single window.
Yeah, that means that most of those buildings don't have an architectural drawing.
So it's wrong to have a single window.
You can have a single window, which means you have to install the architect to install the extractor.
But we don't see the extractor. So if we are not finding the extractor in the kitchen, it's not right to have a single window.
It's not right. Then which means you have to make sure your door is always open, your kitchen door is
So you're trying to tell us at least a minimum of 2 windows?
Yes.
Why is
airflow.
that?
Because of airflow. You know, Europe have a static, their humidity level is very, 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 very low. In Accra, for instance, in Ghana, we have high humidity. That is, if you have a lot of water molecules in our atmosphere in Accra or the whole Ghana. Now, what happens is that if there is gas leakage in your kitchen, it stays longer than somebody in Europe where their atmosphere is very light. The gas moves out. But when you have a lot of water in your atmosphere, the gas stays. That is the problem.
So it's wrong.
So in Ghana, it's very wrong for you to have a single window. That's why all those apartments you see in town coming up, they have extractors, solid extractors in their washrooms, in their kitchens, even in the doorway, they have an extractor.
Now let's get clarity on this one. You are talking about windows. Is it the size or is it about the number of windows you need to have?
No, the size plays a key role. These days, people are doing some one feet. I don't want to use meters to confuse people.
Okay.
1 feet. That is small windows. It's really nice when you look at the design. But you have to ask yourself, are we in Europe or we are in Africa? In Africa, we need bigger windows. You know, windows can bring in the light for the kitchen, which is natural light, which is very good for our health, and also good for the ladies in the kitchen or the gentlemen who these days find themselves in the kitchen. Natural light is very good. It gives you good color. And also when you have oxygen in your kitchen, you can get the right color for your gas burner.
Okay, we'll be going into that. I think we're on the kitchen setup. Okay. So you've told us they need to have the extractor for the cooker. Then the general extractor that will take the smell out of the kitchen and also make it more aerated. Now
the height of your cooker.
The height of the cooker
is also important. If you take just any carpenter to work for your kitchen, you have serious challenges. You have to make sure you know the right height, so anybody who walks into your kitchen can work on the cooker.
But let's talk about the setup. I know I'll be coming to this.
No, the reason for the height is that if you use the wrong height, the person cooking will find the apron on the cooker, and if it's too tall, the person will get himself bent.
Now, these matters, I believe, are with the safety precautions, okay?
Yeah.
So let me ask this. We've spoken about the need to make provision for the 2 extractors. Let's talk about the arrangement of the kitchen items. The burner, where you're going to keep your refrigerator, where the door is supposed to open to. You know, with bedroom situations, the door opens inside into the bedroom. What is
Well, with the kitchen, your door should not be the same way like your bedroom, where when you are opening your bedroom, try to hide behind the door. Or when somebody knocks or sometimes your kids knock, they can open small and you can speak. With kitchen, it's not supposed to be the same way. The kitchen door is supposed to go into the left. When you open it, you go straight to the wall on the left-hand side, not hanging, like blocking the view of the kitchen.
I'm getting you.
So anytime sometimes it's not even ideal to have a door on the kitchen, depending on the design.
But others are keeping 2 doors.
Well, if you have a door, then the most important thing, make sure your door opens to the left-hand side.
So you can keep 2 doors in the kitchen?
You can keep 2 doors. But the main door from the dining is the most important door, not the outer door.
Okay.
The outer door is a security door. And most of the time these days, they have 2 security systems in place. That is, you have the wooden door, you have the metal burglar proof. So it's not an escape. It's no more an escape.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's talk about the arrangement. Where is the gas? Where is the burner?
The burner is supposed. If you walk in straight to your kitchen, the burner is supposed to be straight ahead or on the right hand side.
So once you open the door, you are supposed to be looking at the burner.
The burner.
Or it should be on your right.
Right hand side.
I don't see that.
You see,
I don't see that happen.
That is the best position because if it's on your right hand side, it's easy for you to access it. and it's easy for you to walk out. And in
Okay.
case of emergency,
So let's look at this. On our screen, we are seeing the door.
yeah. So which means
it means the burner is on my left.
the burner is on the left, but I see
It's wrong.
This is not wrong. Looking at the architectural design,
Okay.
because the architect have no access to the corner side of the building. So you could see the ventilation system is supposed to take the air and take it out through the window on the right hand side.
Okay.
So he is forced to put the burner on the left hand side.
So this is a proper arrangement.
This one have a serious proper arrangement
But
because
let's
of
look at the island situation. You were telling us, so let's look at where the wash hand basin is to the island, that space over there. I'm not thinking 3 people can walk.
so you see with this particular European design, they live like couples.
Nucleus, family.
They are just couples. So they design for 2 and a maximum of 3 in the house.
Yeah.
And thereby calculation, mathematically, all the 3 will not be in there. Their kid will be a younger person.
Okay.
So it's just meant for 2 people. But in our African setting, where you have 3 kids, yourself, a maid servant, you see a challenge in this kitchen. So this kitchen, if you give it to a Ghanaian, this kitchen will be messed up within the shortest period.
We are going to hold on with that Ghanaian.
because of the number of people
No.
that will access it. So you could see the dining. Look at the dining chairs by the kitchen. This tells you
Okay.
it's just meant for a couple.
Okay.
So this is cool for like a studio type of residence.
But what about studio development? I mean, buildings having open kitchens, what we call studio apartment. What's your advice?
they are designed in such a way they can just take a single individual. Studios are only for just a single person, maybe for 3 days, a short period.
Okay.
They are not doing heavy cooking. They are just warming some few things in the microwave. That is studio apart.
Now, brief us on LPG. What is LPG?
Well, LPG is made up of propane and butane. They can come up of 2 sources. We have the one comes from petroleum, and then we have the other one coming from natural gases. The natural gas LPG is a little mild than the petroleum one. So sometimes when you start hearing that there's this explosion there, then the importers of the gas are actually bringing the petroleum one. That one is volatile. The energy in it is very strong, like petrol and kerosene, or diesel and kerosene. You know, kerosene have the potency, the sulfur in kerosene is lesser compared to diesel. Now, with LPG gas, if it's coming from natural sources, it's not the heat coming out is not too strong.
Okay.
But if it's coming out of petroleum product, when it's a byproduct of petrol, then the chemicals in it is very strong. So you have the gas coming out. Sometimes our ladies can tell you the gas is smelling very heavy or it's smelling very bad. Now, LPG have no scent.
So I'm surprised you're talking
Yes.
about the smell.
The smell comes from a perfume that is added to it.
It's intense now.
Yes, they add perfume to it. All fuels have no colors. Like petrol, you see the color red. No, they add color to all the fuels. So with LPG, they added perfume to it. So what we smell normally is the perfume. So immediately you smell the perfume, you have to know you are surrounded already by gas.
Wow.
You see, let me explain that.
Please
So
do.
our lovely listeners will say, immediately you walk into your kitchen and you start smelling gas, which means your whole head is already covered in gas.
Not the entire body from
Not the entire, the gas, immediately the gas leakage starts, it covers the top of your kitchen. It starts from the top of your kitchen and start dropping down. Now, if it start dropping, that means it's filling the kitchen. It's filling the kitchen. So the best position for you to get correct air is to kneel or squat or
So
crawl.
you're
You are not supposed to stand. You are not supposed to stand. So if you realize that your kitchen is heavy with LPG,
there's a leakage situation.
there's a leakage situation, you have to bend. That's the best way. And if you have to rescue somebody in a situation, the best place you can get the best oxygen right now is below. So you have to crawl in your kitchen. That is why you are not supposed to put anything on your doorway, buckets, plastics. And you see, some of the things people like keeping these days are these black polythene bags.
Okay.
If you go to most Ghanaians' kitchens, the ladies keep them under the cabinets. A lot of poly products, bags. They think they will need them when they are going to the market. But this is the biggest challenge. They can cause heavy fire. You know, let me tell you, when there's fire in your kitchen, you have 5 minutes.
When there's fire?
There's fire. Assuming your wife shouts or your kids shout, "Daddy, fire!" You have 5 minutes, not 5 seconds. So you have 5 minutes before any material can start burning.
Really?
Really, yes.
So when there's a leakage?
When there's a gas leakage or there's a gas fire, you have 5 minutes, which means you can run from your bedroom, go to the kitchen and pick somebody out of that kitchen without the person's clothes catching fire within that
once
second.
there's a fire outbreak, it's already burning. So why do you say I have
No, fire don't burn that way as people may think.
Okay.
You can feel the heat, but it takes time before every material will even start burning.
Oh, okay.
So the heat will be on this material, for instance, for a long time. It will take some time before the material will start burning. So in case of fire, you have 5 minutes to rescue. If you feel after the 5 minutes, you are not supposed to go in.
Now, let's talk about the use. We are on the usage of LPG. I would want you to mention the items. We know of the burner.
So we have the valve, we have the hose. This is the hose.
This is the hose.
Yeah, pressure
and
hose.
This is the valve.
This is the valve.
Okay.
But this is the pressure hose. There's difference in them. Because of the layer, if you look in there, you can see it's got 2 layers. We have 2 to 3 layers. The black, the inside looks black.
Yes.
Then there's a white layer. Then there's the orange layer. That tells you it's a pressure pipe. So anytime you want to use any hose, we have cheaper ones that looks transparent. Well, they may tell you you can use that one, but then it's not the best when you are using a 25 kilos LPG. You know the cylinders. The cylinders have sizes. The normal one we see in town is the 5 kg, 25 kg. And government have certified that one for domestic use. We have 7 kg, 14 kg, and all of that, dropping down in the smaller ones that you can use for banku and all of that.
Okay.
Those ones are certified by National Petroleum for houses. Now, the commercial ones are the 52 kg. They are the tall ones, and mostly the colors are different. They are meant for commercial use. Their valve is also different. The reason why they are not good for houses is that in case you have a losing or the hose is not fastened very well and it comes out, the amount of gas that will enter your house or your kitchen, this is serious. So no matter what happens, in case you have these bigger ones and you run out of gas and you think, oh, I can use this one at home. No, don't try that. Don't try that. You can blow your whole house.
People using the 25 kg cylinders.
The 25 is the smaller one, the one we can normally handle at home. The normal one, that's the 25 kg. But the 52 kg is the tall one, very, very tall, just like the height of a young gentleman at JSS. That size is not supposed to be kept at home.
Now, talking about keeping a cylinder, is it supposed to be in the kitchen or is it supposed to be on the outside?
You are not supposed to keep any pressure cylinder in indoor. It's supposed to be outdoor.
When you say pressure
cylinder, if it's empty, you can keep it indoor. But if you fill it with gas, you are not supposed to keep it indoor. It's supposed to be outdoor. Don't be afraid of thieves. Sometimes you can just get this chain and just lock it, and you are good to go.
Okay, so explain to us how it works, the use of the valve, and how we are supposed to...
Now, if you look at the valve, this is the valve. There's an opener here. There's a knob, this particular knob. This knob, you can open it and close it. All pressure valves have the open and the close. They regulate the gas from coming. Now, LPG gas is one of the most comfortable gas we can handle and we can actually control. That is why it's recommended for us to use it. Now, with this valve, as you close it, you lock this valve on the cylinder. And this particular valve is to reduce the pressure coming out of the cylinder to a particular pressure that your cooker will be using. If you look at the pressure coming from the cylinder, that is very high pressure. That is running to the bar of about 30 to 50 bar. But then this will reduce it to about 5 bar. That is 5, the pressure coming is very, very low, which means you can handle it at home. That's why when you open your cooker or you try to ignite your cooker, you realize that the gas coming is not heavy. So you now increase it so that you can have the flames coming up bigger or getting bigger because of the type of gas. That's why LPG is normally used at home. There are other gases that can be used, but then because of their attitude, that's why they've studied, they realize that LPG is the best and that's what we can use. And it's recommended scientifically throughout the world. It gives clean fuel, it burns clean, no black smoke coming out.
Okay. Now, when you go to these filling stations to fill the gas, you hear the attendants say, okay, it might be 16, 17. They fill and they're asking you, okay, pay extra so that we top it up for you.
You know, it's because of our Ghanaians have a problem. Ghanaians, we have a challenge. Our challenge is that sometimes when the gas run out and we are going to buy the gas will not be available. That's why people try to top up. But NPA, National Petroleum Authority, have given serious regulation to these vendors to make sure they fill to the weight of that cylinder, not to the capacity of the cylinder.
Explain that bit.
They are supposed to, they've given them weight. You know, the cylinder have the number of liters. You can fill it to about 25 liters. But they are saying that if you fill the whole 25 liters, the pressure will be very high. And in case of emergency, it will be very tough for them to handle. So reduce the pressure. So reduce the quantity to 75%. So when they fill, they are not supposed to fill it to the brim. They fill it to 75%. And that's why they came out with the kilograms.
Okay.
Because they realize that if they tell the people to use liters, we may have challenges. So they say, now use the scale. So in the receipt, they don't want you to have any price above their price allocation. So you are forced to write on your receipt 14 kilos, 52 kilos, 13 kilos.
So it's wrong with the top-ups they do.
So you realize that those who fill by liters and they top up, they will write their price for you, which is not in the weight category that NPA is allowed.
And it's wrong.
It's very wrong. It's very wrong.
Talk about safety.
It's very wrong, and that is some of the causes of fires at home. When the pressures are too much for the cooker you are using. If you are using a tabletop cooker, for instance, a tabletop cooker, or you are using this Banku cooker, and you fill it to the highest capacity, and there's a problem, the amount of gas that will come will be too much.
Now, in the process of going to buy these gas with a cylinder, how is it supposed to be transported?
Well, you see, we are forced to roll them because of the design. Natural, when you pick a cylinder, you want it to roll, so you put them in your car rolling. No, that is wrong. You are supposed to handle them standing upright. The cylinders are supposed to stand
You are not supposed to sleep.
No, they are not supposed to sleep in your car. Then you see them rolling forward. When you brake, they go bang. Then they come back in your car. They keep dancing. they have to stand. Mm. So if they cannot stand in your boot, then it should go inside your car. And when it gets inside your car and you are smelling the perfume of the gas, then which means your valve, the top valve, there's the valve, the copper or the bronze valve that this valve will go on. It's another valve. There's a leak. It can leak. Mm. When it starts leaking, you smell the perfume in your car. The best thing is to send it back to the vendor. Don't try to amend it yourself. No, send the cylinder. When you smell anything problem with your cylinder, you have to send it to the vendor. They will discard the gas in it and check if they can do it for you. If they can't, they'll tell you your cylinder have expired. And the cylinder even have years of expiry. You can't use it for life. And so you can't inherit cylinders. Like your mother used a cylinder and your mother is gone and you think you can inherit it. No.
Okay. Okay, so if you just join us, this is the Pyramid Show here live on Joy News Television. Today we are looking at, that is the use of LPG and its dangers. This show is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of Zyper's waterproofing product and Republic Bank. You can also tell us what your experience has been. Send us your comments, questions on the WhatsApp number 0500 180 697, 0500 180 697. You can possibly even send pictures as well, and we'll be looking at them. Also, you can also send us an SMS, the same number, 0500 180 697. Eddie Quay, let's look at the maintenance and possible repair of these hose. You just gave us the valve, the burner, the cooker. Sometimes, let's start with the cylinder gas. We see it begins to rust, and the first thing we do is to respray it.
Well, anytime you notice a rust on your cylinder, and your cylinder have worked successfully for 2 years for you, and you now notice rust, the life of your cylinder, the metal cylinder, is 10 years. You are supposed to send it back to the factory for pressure tests. The fiberglass one, the new ones that looks like plastic in town, they are made up of fiberglass. Now, fiberglass, just these days, we've realized that they are failing. They are failing.
The fiberglass?
The fiberglass is failing on all angles. And I can tell you on the grounds, if you like, ask any Sprinter driver. The modern Sprinter bus is using fiberglass as the spring. Ask them, how is the fiberglass doing? And if they have an option, will they pick a metal spring or they will pick a fiberglass spring? And that will tell you the whole issue about that. But then the difference is you have to do pressure tests for fiberglass 5 years, every 5 years. But then metal or metallic cylinders, you have to do 10 years. Pressure tests in 10 years. So that will tell you the two. If you want to buy them, what you have to buy. And where are you going to do the pressure test? Because the vendors cannot do pressure tests. That's the point. So you have to check if the distributor of those cylinders, have they got a facility where they can do the pressure test for you in 5 years? Where are you going to do that? That is the challenge. So if you know where you can do that, you don't have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so for professionals like building engineers, architects, site supervisors, if you are within the construction industry, I recommend Zypes waterproofing products to you. It can be used to resolve challenges of rising damp, wet areas. Zypes that not only waterproof your building, but it also protects it against that is possible salt attack and also protect the iron rods within them. If you are constructing or building a septic tank, in other words, manholes, swimming pools, even talking about bridges, dams, and your building itself, then look nowhere else, but I recommend Zypes concrete waterproofing products for you. So call us on this number, that is 0208 1103 28, 0208 1103 28, and you have an answer to the rising damp situation you are currently facing. So with the show takes a break, we return after. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the fear of building within a waterlogged area or situations where you find the water table of the soil too high is over with the introduction of Zypes concrete waterproofing product. With Zypes concrete waterproofing product, all you have to do is that at the onset of the construction of your foundation, you make sure you add this mixture to your concrete and your blocks so that it will be able to withstand any adverse effect of possible water that will be coming against the building. So call us for your products on this number, that is 0208 1103 28, 0208 1103 28. Do not build your house to later see the many rising defects and also possible leakages in your building. Make sure you make provision with Zypes in your construction. You can also find Zypes, our office at the Braka, that is close to the Kora Paint. Up next is Audrey Dushikafui with the interactive segment.
Thank you. So today discussions is on the use of LPG gas, the use of liquefied petroleum gas. So I am asking you, how safe do you keep your LPG cylinder in your kitchen? You can join our interactivity by sending me messages on WhatsApp or via SMS. The number is 0500 180 697. Engage and follow us on our socials, Twitter at @the_show, Facebook 360mediagh.net. So our first message on WhatsApp is from Kwame Bless from Wasada DSO. Your show is helping us a lot in our homes. Thank you. One from JT from Saboba. I'm enjoying your show from Saboba. Please, with the advent of compound houses with large kitchens, is it still necessary to have an extractor in our kitchens? And how many extractors are needed in a 3-bedroom self-contained house? Please kindly talk about those in single rooms and using verandas as kitchen. Some also park motors in the same places when in use. I'm Samuel Quason from Akim Suwedrum. Please, how many years should one make use of an LPG cylinder before maybe disposing it off? Because I have used mine for 11 years. I want to know the average age it takes for a cylinder to expire. The guest says filled gas ought to be kept outside. The guest says filled gas ought to be kept outside. How can a home kitchen be constructed to have the filled gas left outside, yet connected structurally to the cooker indoors. We need some pictorial views to help in practice. We will do that. That's from Efia Jesua from Accra. How should a gas cylinder be transported on a motorbike? I have used my cylinder for the past 30 years and it is still good in my mind. Please, what should I do? So one is saying, doctor mentioned 5 minutes before an ignition, and so rescue should be done within the 5 minutes. My question is, at what point would you determine the 5 minutes? Please, can you fill a cylinder for a long journey in a VIP bus? So that is a picture of someone's LPG cylinder. You can be a part of the interactivity by sending in messages on WhatsApp 0500-180. I have this gas which has the stove on top. May I know the demerits or the dangers of using this type of gas? From John from Kwabinyam. Please show this on the screen for. Okay, sure. Good afternoon. Please, I'm enjoying your discussion, but some of us are living in a single room with everything inside. What do we do, or how do we keep the cylinder? Thanks for educating us on this important topic. Please, I have a cylinder that is faded and is leaking also. More than 10 years. Do I have to throw it away, or can it be repaired? Hi, I'm Yao from Akomedan. I bought my cylinder in the year 2007. How many years can I use this? You can engage us on our socials. It is Twitter as the pyramid_show, Facebook 360mediagh.net, and then on WhatsApp or via SMS. The number is 0500-180-697. That will be all for the interactive.
Now, Audrey, before you take leave of us, let me ask you this question. With the use of LPG against charcoal, possibly wood, is the taste of the food different, or you believe it's the same?
Okay, for me, I know when you do something like when you cook charcoal grilled pork, it has a different taste. And then when you put it in the oven, it tastes different. So depending on the method you're using to cooking, it adds a feel to the meal.
So you think the medium for cooking, affects the taste of the food? You believe that?
Not all dishes, some.
Okay, I was surprised you made mention of banku and pork. Probably that's your favorite food. Anyway, thank you so much, Audrey.
Well,
Eddie, let me come back to you. So, quite a number of people.
I would like to contribute to what she said.
What Audrey said?
Yeah, because research I've carried out shows that if you do banku on LPG gas, the taste is horrible.
Hey, LPG on banku?
If you do banku on LPG gas,
yes.
The taste is not right. You have to do it on charcoal.
Wow.
If you do it on charcoal, you get a true taste.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, quite a number of the messages that came in wanted to know about the lifespan. I would want you to take your time.
Well, the lifespan is supposed to be 10 years when the cylinder is supposed to travel back to the factory for pressure tests. That is what is coming from
the lifespan for the gas cylinder.
Yes,
the metallic cylinder.
You see, the life could be 15, but then they say the manufacturers, the law says that after 10 years, you have to send the cylinder back to the factory for pressure tests.
Okay, so do you necessarily have to see it begin to rust before you can say my cylinder is now bad?
Okay, so to check if your cylinder is okay, you have to turn your cylinder, lift it up, rotate your cylinder, let it lie flat, and check the bottom part of your cylinder, the base, the bottom of the cylinder. If you notice rust there, the amount of rust you see on the surface, you have equal rust from the middle inside the cylinder. So
whatever the area I see,
if you notice rust on the handle
yes.
of the cylinder, that tells you that there's an equal rust from the interior of the cylinder coming because of the heat that was used when they were welding that part.
So with people spraying it again,
that is the worst. That is the worst. Once the rust begin, just know the cylinder is about to go. At least you can recoup some money from it by selling it to the scrap dealers for recycle.
So never try to.
So don't throw it away. You don't throw it away.
No, but you should stop using it.
You should stop. Immediately you notice the rust is taking control of the cylinder from the base. You have to discard it.
Okay. Now others were talking about being in the same room cooking, and these typical settings you see within the dormitories hostels.
The hostels have a system. The hostel is supposed to have a system where they have a copper pipe run from the kitchen all the way to the base That is the ground floor where the cylinders will be. The gas, LPG gas, should not run through the hose. It should run through copper pipes that comes to the kitchen. And then they should have the safety gas alert in the kitchen, the top of the kitchen.
But with those, there was a picture one of our viewers sent.
Okay, those ones. Those ones that have the burner on top.
Okay.
The burner on top.
I think in a bit we'll
a lot of people are using that one. That one, because of the size of the cylinder, you could see they've reduced the size. That is the 6 kg and the 7 kg. The pressure is so low.
That's it on the screen.
The pressure is so low that it could handle that heat. So the valve on it cannot give you cannot do pump soup on this type of burner.
Really?
If you have large cook, you can't get that heat from it. It can't give you. No matter what you do, this will not give you that volume of heat. If you're cooking, you try to cook a large amount of food, you can't use this one.
But with the storage,
with this is
they keep it in their bedrooms.
But this quantity is very small.
Okay.
But if you come to the 25 kg, then the quantity goes up. So these ones they keep in the porch, and the porch have a lot of windows. Apart from they stuffing the place with a lot of materials.
So you were walking us through the lifespan of these various.
So if it's a gas cylinder, you're supposed to send it for pressure test every 10 years. You are supposed to take it back for pressure test. So if you can't do pressure test, then which means that you have to discard the cylinder. And if you notice rust on it, you have to discard it. Immediately. So you go run and check it. And don't be concerned about keeping the cylinder outside. The cylinder is supposed to be outside.
Okay.
If you want to protect it from rust, you can put polythene rubber around it so that water and other things may not affect it. But if you live by the beach side, then it's okay for you to use the fiberglass one, the one that is in town, so that those rust will not.
I know we are done with the messages, but let me go to this message. It reads, I'm a bit confused as to how to transport fuel cylinders in an upright position. But the vehicles that transport the bulk LPG are horizontal, and it's coming from Ofori in Doma. So there was another question, and he was trying to understand, even with the motorbike, how are you supposed to transport?
Okay, now let me explain to the listener. The point is that the cylinder, when it's standing upright, in case of an explosion, the valve on top of the cylinder comes upward, runs upward. That is why they want you to keep it standing. So in case when you are moving and it shakes and the gas builds up, goes up, or the pressure multiplies inside the cylinder, and the cylinder neck is weak, it may not travel horizontal to hurt you or hit anybody, but it will just go upward. That makes it very safe. That is why. But the trucks, they don't have a valve on it. Their valve is down below. So in case of any emergency, they flow below onto the ground. That is how they are designed. So if you look at the end shape of it, they are designed in such a way. And even with them, they also have pressure valve, the amount of pressure they can carry.
Okay.
And even when they are discharging, you'll be surprised to know they have to be pouring water on it. When a gas truck is discharging, they have to be pouring water on the cylinder to cool it. That tells you that we have a lot of safety measures that we don't do at home when we are using the cylinders.
Okay, so we just learned that once you see the development of rust on your gas cylinder, you just do not have to respray it, you just have to discard it. But what is the situation with the burners? You're talking about the hose, you're talking about the valves. Do you have to discard them, or you can possibly repair them? Also, we'll be understanding the health implications when you fail to observe all these instructions the expert in the studio, Edikwe, has been saying. We'll return after this break for more on this. Thank you once again. So the line is activated, the phone line is activated, call to be part of the discussion. Let's go on to maintenance. You spoke about the need to discard immediately when you see the development of rust on the gas cylinder.
Yeah.
What about the hose we have here, the valve, you're talking about the burner, and also you're talking about the cooker?
Yeah, the first thing I'll talk about is the usage of cooker as a dry line. The usage of the cooker handle.
The cooker.
You know, the oven. The oven have a big handle. And so what our sisters have now started is to use the the
The
handle.
way you keep saying sisters, myself, I've been cooking.
Okay.
I've been supporting.
Then you have to avoid using the handle
So,
of the cooker
users.
as the dry line. It's very, very dangerous to use it because in case of fire, you could see this, or maybe a wind blow or something. These knack pins could just fly onto the gas and could cause problems. So you are not supposed to use the handle of the cooker or the oven as a dry line.
Let me talk to Shalom. Hello, Shalom from Accra.
Hello.
Hello, brother.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please go on with your submission.
Yeah, please. I just want to know the advantage of the fiber cylinder over the normal one that we use.
Okay, thank you very much, Shalom.
Welcome.
So, the advantages of the fiber over the cylinder, or probably the reverse?
Well, the first advantage is weight. The weight of the fiber cylinder is lighter, and the metal cylinder is heavier. That's the first advantage. And if you look at the second advantages, it's more attractive. The fiber looks very attractive to the eyes compared to the metal. But after that, you look at the pressure the fiber can handle. They are saying it can handle higher pressure. But where we are coming in as engineers and safety engineers is the life they have given for the fiber is 5 years. You have to do pressure tests.
So, which is durable? Which, as an
It's
engineer,
up to the
user?
The user. If you can check your fiber after 5 years, do the pressure test, there's no problem.
Okay.
You have to do pressure tests every 5 years. And then with the metal, they are saying you can do the pressure test every 10 years. But don't forget, fiber is a new product. It's a new thing. You know, we are all in Africa where we see new products come up. It's years before we tell how durable they are, in case of fire, how they will behave. All these have to take years. So they just came into the system.
Okay.
Fiber have been used in the auto industry, and that's what I'm telling you. They are using it as springs for sprinter buses. That's fiber. Recently, they used it for a submarine that went onto the sea and never came back. Now, the same fiber.
Okay.
So when we talk about fiber, it's not that we are causing panic.
Okay.
But these are reality. If you want to know, walk to any workshop where they repair sprinter buses, talk to the mechanic, how good is the fiber spring doing on the new sprinter buses.
I understand how clear your stand is. As an expert, your personal view, metallic cylinder versus the fiber cylinder, which this is not a general statement.
With me, I recently bought a metal one.
So you go for the metallic
I'll go
cylinder.
for because of my kids.
Okay.
I'll not.
Now let's talk about the maintenance of these items. I'm talking about the hose, the valve.
Well, the hose is supposed to be 2 years. Every 2 years, you have to replace it. Maximum 2 years. But if your hose is exposed outside, where the weather is having an effect on it, immediately you notice crack on the hose, or they dry up. You just twist it this way. If you notice crack or it's falling off, you have to change it immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. So
Okay.
that tells you the hose is expired.
Let me
Once
talk to-
it starts turning into powder form, it's expired. Secondly, with the valve, when you notice that the nozzle, the nozzle is also becoming powder-like because of the alloy, you have to discard it.
But it's not having a lifespan?
No, this one too can go for 5 years.
5 years.
5
so
years.
the hose is for 2 years, the valve is for 5 years.
Depending on the quality you buy. With the valve, the quality you buy, if you go for very cheap ones,
Okay.
that one, the valve, the open and close lock goes bad quickly. Sometimes a year you have to discard it.
Okay. Hello, Francis from Asinfosu.
Hello?
Hello, Francis.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let us hear from you.
Yeah, I recently bought a regulator. But after the gas has been finished, I could not remove the regulator again. I don't know what to do.
Please repeat your question again.
Okay.
I said I bought a regulator.
Okay.
But after the gas has finished, I cannot remove the regulator to refill again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Francis?
Well, that is the moist in the gas have effect on the bore. You see, if you look at the inside of this, you can notice there are some round bearings in there, round bearings, smaller ones, 3. Now, when they get stuck, definitely your cylinder will be stuck. You can't get this valve out of the cylinder because of these bearings. When water gets in there, which means he allows rainwater to affect these bearings. That is the challenge. But apart from that, what he can do is to buy quick release lubrication spray and spray it. You can get to the shop and buy carburetor spray and just spray it, and that will make it free for him to lose it. So if you want to, you can lubricate it. Just make sure the seal, there's a seal they give you anytime you want to fill your gas. Make sure you always replace it, as the guys may tell you. Sometimes we insist that to pay, so we say my seal is okay. So make sure you replace that seal.
Okay, hello, Engineer Harrison.
It's Engineer Hansen, rather.
Hansen, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Please, supposing I want to do pressure test, and I'm in the central region, and the place I know that pressure test can be done is in Kumasi, Amstead. So, do I have to carry the cylinder alone from central region to Kumasi?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Engineer.
Well, definitely the distributors have a way of doing the pressure test. So if you know any distributor, the distributor in that area, you can tell him that your cylinder is due for pressure test, and for that reason, if he can send it there for you. Once he's going to the factory have a system of doing pressure tests. Even in Accra, they can do the pressure test. Anywhere they produce the cylinders, they do pressure tests. So the manufacturer have a way to handle that. So you can send it back to the distributor and tell him you want the cylinder checked for you.
Okay, so Eddie, now let's look at, you've spoken of the hose, the valve, the regulator. Let's talk about the burner or the cooker. I've seen, sometimes you see the ignition almost burning beneath. That is the burner or the cooker. Well, that's what I'm asking.
Well, you need to maintain your cookers very well.
You are not supposed to throw them away.
No, you can't. The only maintenance you can do is to take the top aluminium. You know that shining aluminium on top of your burner.
Okay.
Take it and just get some old toothbrush, the hard one, and just clean so that there are no debris at the base of the top. That top canister, that small aluminium that goes on top of the burner. That is what will give you efficient burning. Once the gas comes out of the line and is running through the lines, you get a right mixture, which is very, very key. But then you are supposed to make sure that you have the right color. The first signal to tell you your cooker is giving you problem is when you start seeing smoke, or your bowls, your cooking utensils are getting darker.
Sweet.
That tells you your cooker have a problem. 1, 2. When the color coming out is not blue, but red or orange.
The color of the burning gas?
The burning gas should be blue. Blue. It should be blue. If you buy anything new and you realize the color is not blue, something orange, something red, please, no. Send it back. Send it back to where you bought it. Tell them the cooker is no good. When you put it on, it should be blue. Your fire should be blue.
Okay. So, hello, Funzi.
Hello.
Funzi from Boliga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, again.
Good evening. Go on. Please be brief about your submission.
Hello.
Please speak. Okay, unfortunately, we lost Funzi. I think I would want you to touch on some few health implications.
Well, you have to make sure your kitchen is wide open, which means it's airy. Allow a lot of air into your kitchen. That is fresh air, not recycled air. The same air in your kitchen turning over and over. That is not good for your health. So it's very important to make sure anytime your cookers are on, you open the windows so that the fumes coming out will all go out. If not, sooner or later, you have a lot of carbon monoxide in your kitchen, and you'll be breathing it, and it will enter into your blood and your veins, and years later, you may have some few challenges. Either your hands will be shaking, or you'll be sleeping abnormal.
Okay, other precautions we have to know?
Well, you have to make sure that LPG is a nice gas. It's a nice gas you can work with, you can handle it. But if you know somebody is suffering from epilepsy, the person is absent-minded, the person is aged, please know how you handle your LPG gas. If your parents are aging now, they forget a lot. Anytime they put something on gas, they leave it, they forget, then you have to be very careful the way you handle your LPG gas.
So this has been a great discussion. We've been talking to engineer Edikwe. He's a mechanical engineer by profession. He's also the CEO for Glasscomb Limited here in Accra. A very big thank you to our sponsors. We're talking about Zypes Waterproofing and Republic Bank. Very big thank you to the production team, Mesha Kedokan all the way in Arlington, Texas, Audrey Dushikafui, Alice Koka, Ohine all the way in Kumasi. To our viewers, we say we cherish you and appreciate you for always being part of the show. Remember, the week is yours, so have it and make the best out of it. Bye-bye.